My name is Alex Vizori. I'm Senior Director of Product Management within Fortinet. I do cover multiple products, and today I'm going to present you the AI/ML solution we have for the wireless LAN and as well as wired and SD-WAN. So there are different challenges, and I've been working for 13 years within support, and I know how it is difficult to go to the bottom of issues. You have a lot of data to monitor. You have a lot of expertise to have nowadays with all-in-one, with wireless, LAN, WAN, and SD-WAN. So it is really complicated to go through all those important informations. Most of the time, the information that the customer or the user is giving you is internet is slow or wireless is not working, which is not easy to understand and how to go further with that. Also, it is taking a lot of time. So what to do with that? Also, we have to have a lot of expertise. And most of the time, when you switch over from one solution to the other, or you're not expert in everything. So for example, you can be knowledgeable within wireless and not within switching, or not with SD-WAN. And it's really complicated for admin to be able to troubleshoot those issues. So what is AIOps meant for? So it is helping to reduce the technical requirements. Like, you don't need to have an expert or a level 3 engineer to go to the bottom of the issue. It's also allowing you to go faster to the resolution and faster to the root cause of the issue. And at the end of the day, it is improving your overall network health and availability, and ultimately the user experience. So how FortiAIOps is here helping. So what do we do? So you did see that we do have our firewall, we do have switches and APs that are connected and managed from the central point, meaning that all the elements, all the logs are transiting within this FortiGate. So what AIOps is doing is taking all those information over the full series of type of logs we have, and trying to understand, analyzing, going deep into what could be the issue. In parallel, because logs are not enough, we have the Fabric REST API, a powerful REST API that is available and fully documented, that is allowing FortiAIOps to go and to query the FortiGate in order to fine-tune the elements and understand what is the root cause of the issue and what could be tweaked, changed in order to go further and improve the user experience or solve the issue. So as of today,
sorry, Alex, do you do this in the cloud or do you do this directly on the FortiGate?
That's a good question. So as of today, this is available, and it's like something I wanted to explain later. It's part of our FortiManager as an extension module. So only available on premises for the FortiGates, but we are actively working to get a cloud solution that would be available for both FortiGate Cloud and FortiLAN Cloud that I'm going to cover in the next video. So as of today, as I told you, we do monitor, we do establish baselines across the entire network. We also provide some diagnostic. So based on what we have seen from logs, what we have seen from the REST API over the wireless LAN, LAN or SD-WAN. And this is helping to go to the bottom of that and get the real root cause analysis. Where we are aiming to is to go to predictive. So we are already starting to do some analysis, and I'm going to explain that a bit later. And the ultimate goal would be then to be to prescribe and to correct, to have a self-healing network. So this is a summary of what we have. Chris did mention that FortiOS running on the FortiGate is the core of the network. So this is where we do get information, but we do get also all the information from the FortiAPs, from the SD-WAN, from the Forti extender that is coming, and from the switches. All within the Fabric management, the FortiManager, that is also having logs from our central FortiAnalyzer module that is collecting all the logs from the FortiGate and other devices. So this is all the orchestration. Chris did mention that all devices talk to each other. It's not a lie, it's a true representation of what we do within products in order to achieve this goal. So this is showing you different way to get that. So Francois, you were saying, so this is running within FortiManager and within the data center, so allowing us to save the one bandwidth between the FortiGates and this analysis tool. So you have two ways: either you have a FortiAnalyzer, either you don't have it. So if you don't have it, logs would directly fly from the FortiGates and go directly to FortiAIOps. Or for customers that are having a FortiAnalyzer, we have the capability to forward those logs directly from FortiAnalyzer and only send once the log over the one.
So are you guys using APIs? Is it public APIs, private APIs to do all of these for the communication between the FortiAnalyzer and FortiAIOps?
So between FortiAnalyzer and AIOps, it is pure syslogs. But between FortiAIOps and the FortiGate, we do reuse a tunnel, a secure tunnel that is between FortiManager and each FortiGate that is started by each FortiGate, meaning that even if the FortiGate is far away behind a NAT device, we would still be able to monitor that and to get data from it.
Okay.
So last year, we did present you some different SLAs we had. We did improve this year, so we did add a few of them. So we did add roaming, throughput, and coverage for wireless, which is adding quite a lot of things we can check and like warn admins. We did improve also by adding SD-WAN, so it's initial start, and we are progressively also working in that. So just to allow our customers to get the full network and not just like the pure wireless. I know that today we are talking about wireless, but just to show you that we are looking into the full picture also. Something that we did add this year is dynamic baselines. It's good to monitor things, but if they are static, if you have static thresholds, it will never fly because each deployment might be different. You could have one FortiGate that is really far away or on a country where the bandwidth is low, or you could even have one central FortiGate where you have remote APs deployed across a country, across the globe, which is also possible, where some of them might have different times, different kind of behavior that would be inducing some issues. So we did add dynamic baselines, and we did add them for different SLAs we have, so time to connect, roaming time, and also for SD-WAN. This is allowing us to understand what is happening over the time, what are the evolution of that, and this is allowing for the next phase to allow us to predict things and go further with that and be really warning customers when we do see patterns that are causing issues.
How do you baseline what's normal? What sort of duration do you watch in order to get this baseline? And then I think the follow-up question that I have would be, are you comparing against other like customers within a vertical in order to achieve some of those baselines?
Okay, so as of today, we don't compare with other customers because remember what we have is an on-premise solution, so we cannot compare one solution with the other. This is something that we could potentially do, but with some acknowledgement or from customers. To come back to what period of time we do check, can we hold that question for a moment, and I will cover that during the demo, if possible.
Are you using any? Because usually when vendors do something like this, they use machine learning and some pretty heavy algorithm to do it. Are you guys using some of these algorithm, and what type of resource do you need if you running this like on a VM versus in the cloud where you have like unlimited? You're supposed to have unlimited resources.
So we do have some requirements based on the amount of devices and logs we do receive. It's part of the official documentation, and it can go up to 64 gig of RAM with FortiManager included. So it really depends, because if we talk about 5, 10 devices, if we talk about 1,000, the requirements would not be the same. So we are quite. Yes,
Sorry,
Chris?
what is the level of scalability for this if this is an on-prem solution?
You mean
how many devices, how many firewalls, how many APs, how much data feed can you support with the AIOps solution?
So as of today, with the biggest FortiManager we have, if I'm not mistaken, we can support 1,600 FortiGates, similar for the switches. APs, it's I need to check. It's much more, and we have 64,000 stations that are supported.
I have a question on the slide that you had on vision. Showed that you were in you had descriptive, diagnostics, predictive, and prescribe as your vision. Like where is Fortinet there, that vision? Do you guys already implement all of these, or are you in?
So as I said, we do have the first two and the third. We are working on it. So the baselines is the start of that, and the next release would get to the third phase. So this is what we are aiming to. So here we are within FortiManager, where you have all your devices, policy objects, and different sections. What we are here is we are within the management extensions, and we are fully integrated. So whenever you click, you would have that. We have different links from the device manager that would redirect you to the FortiAIOps. So last year we did present that. It did change a bit. You still have a summary of the currently connected clients, the overall impacted over the period of time, the trends, the top 3 impacted devices. Here we only have 1. And then we have the wireless switching and SD-WAN SLAs. So you have different ways to go to the bottom of that. Either you click on the different SLAs that would redirect you. You can also show stations or APs, depending on from which angle you want to tackle the issue. Or what we did is we did had different dashboards, so impacted devices, which would do a summary of, for example, the impacted access points per FortiGate, the impacted interfaces, or the wireless clients that are impacted per AP, or the SD-WAN stations that are impacted. So that's from an impacted device point of view, but you can also search if you want, so there is no issue with that. And from the other angle, we have the impacted SLAs that would give you for wireless switching and SD-WAN a different split. So you can say, by example, throughput, which would give you coverage and would give you different classifiers and different sub-classifiers. So, for example, here for coverage, we have asymmetric data rate, which will give you, again, the impacted devices and where they are connected, which SSID, and so on. And if you want to go further, you can see where they are connected and all the history of these issues, and you can go deeper and get some information from the diagnostic. So which AP it was, what is the root cause, what is the issue, and what is the remedy we are seeing for that. On top of that, what we do is we do provide, whenever available, some different information, such as AP stats, so giving you a quick snapshot of what is the AP where the station is connecting behaving, from a radio point of view, from a wired point of view. Whenever available, we do have the logs also for this specific event. If connected to a switch, in this case, it is not, we would have, not connected to a managed switch, we would have some events here. And then you have, for this specific AP, you have all the impacted clients versus all connected clients. And if also available, if there are some interfering APs nearby this one, you would get them listed here. So this is what we have. We can drill down, so you have different kind of narrow down, so which would give you whatever you want and fine-tune what is seen by each independent station over the time. So we did mention earlier the dynamic baselines. So this is what we have added for time to connect, roaming, and SD-WAN. It can be either static if you only have one FortiGate, or if you're really strict on what you want, or we have dynamic baselines that are computed based on the full FortiManager ADOM. So within FortiManager, you can segregate FortiGates within a container called ADOM, where it can be for each independent customer. So meaning that if you have multiple FortiGates for the same customers, you might want to apply that. Or you can say, I want to have the baselines computed for each FortiGate independently. Or if it is, by example, for wireless, you can have them computed for each independent AP. Then you can say the time selection, it's either whatever you want. So this is answering the question, or it can be within a specific period of time to get the initial baselines, and then you would stick to that. And below you get what is being computed. So for example, here for time to connect, you have the association, the authentication time, the DHCP time, and DNS is on its way to be implemented.
So if you decide to do another baseline, it will override the first one you've done?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have that also for roaming and SD-WAN, so similar thing, except that for roaming, we can have per SSID, but then it is the same concept.
So earlier you showed the logs you were getting from the clients, the APs and such. So what would be the workflow if you're getting a ticket that says Wi-Fi doesn't work? Where would you go first, and which information would you try to get to? Would you just filter out?
It depends. If you get one query from a specific customer, you can go directly to impacted devices, where if it is wireless, you can filter to the specific address, for example. Or if it is wider, you can go directly to impacted SLAs that would give you what is really happening in your network.
And can you get the, so I saw in the logs you had like prob responses, prob request. Can you get the actual frames, like PCAP?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Do you envision using the Fortinet client on the device to feed in some data here?
So we envision to have an app, not necessarily FortiClient. This is still under discussion, but yeah, we do envision to have an app feeding FortiAIOps from a station point of view.